TV soap news and spoilers say that in the shadowed corridors of love and deception, where whispers of betrayal echo louder than vows of devotion, the tale of Tomas, Kat, and Eva unfolds with a chilling intensity. The quaint town of Eldegrove, nestled beyond the ancient iron gates of its namesake estate, serves as the stage for a drama that teeters on the edge of heartbreak and revelation. Here, amid the cobblestone streets and ivy-draped goosehouses, a web of lies and hidden motives threatens to unravel the fragile bonds between three souls. Tomas, a man whose charm masks a sinister intent, has ensnared Kat and Eva in a dangerous game of affection and manipulation. Will the two women see through his carefully crafted facade, or will they fall deeper into his treacherous plot? The air is thick with tension, and the truth waits in the shadows, ready to strike. The arrival. A storm brewing, the sun hung low over Eldegrove, casting a golden haze over the guesthouse where Kat and Tomas had taken refuge after a long journey. The building, with its weathered stone facade and creaking wooden floors, exuded an air of forgotten secrets, as if it had witnessed countless dramas unfold within its walls. Kat, her auburn hair catching the fading light, stood by the window, her gaze distant yet troubled. She had sensed a shift in Tomas since their arrival, a subtle change in his demeanor that prickled her intuition. His easy smiles, once a source of warmth, now seemed calculated, his words laced with an undercurrent she couldn't quite place. Tomas lounged on the faded velvet sofa, his dark eyes following Kat's every move. He was handsome in a way that disarmed, sharp jawline, tousled hair, and a voice that could soothe or seduce with equal ease. But beneath this polished exterior lay a heart that beat with ambition, not affection. Kat had known him for months, their flirtations blossoming in the quiet moments before Eva's arrival disrupted their fragile connection. Now, as they stood in the guest house, the weight of unspoken truths hung between them like a storm cloud ready to burst. The confrontation, shadows of doubt. The air grew heavy as Kat turned from the window, her emerald eyes locking onto Tomas. "Why were you in Eva's room last night?" she asked, her voice steady but edged with accusation. The question cut through the silence, sharp and unyielding. Tomas's smile faltered, but only for a moment. He rose from the sofa, crossing the room with a deliberate slowness, as if measuring each step to gauge her resolve. "Kat, you're reading too much into this," he said, his tone smooth as silk but tinged with condescension. "Eva and I were just talking. You know how she is. Always trying to stir the pot, to make you jealous." His words were a deft deflection, but Kat wasn't so easily swayed. She stepped closer, her hands trembling slightly at her sides. "Don't turn this on me, Tomas," she snapped. "I saw the way you looked at her, the way you lingered in her doorway. I'm not blind." Her voice cracked, betraying the hurt she tried to mask. Kat had always been fiery, her emotions a tempest that could light up a room or burn it down. She knew she wasn't perfect. Her sharp tongue and quick temper often left her second-guessing her words, but she had never doubted her feelings for Tomas. Until now. Tomas sighed, running a hand through his hair, a gesture that seemed rehearsed. "You're impossible sometimes, Kat. You know that? Always assuming the worst, always picking fights. Maybe if you trusted me a little more, we wouldn't be here." His words stung, each one a calculated jab at her insecurities. Kat's shoulders slumped, her resolve wavering. She hated this about herself, the way her doubts could spiral, the way she could feel so fiercely and yet question her own heart. "I know I'm not easy to love," she admitted, her voice softer now, almost pleading. "I don't always say the right thing, and I push people away without meaning to. But I thought you saw me, Tomas. I thought you understood." Her eyes searched his, desperate for a glimpse of the man she'd fallen for, the one who had laughed with her under starlit skies and promised her a future. "I like you. More than I've ever liked anyone. But I need to know, do you feel the same, or is this all just a game to you?" Tomas's expression softened, but there was a flicker in his eyes, a shadow of something darker. He stepped closer, taking her hands in his. "Kat, you're the woman for me. You've always been the one." His voice was low, intimate, and for a moment, Kat wanted to believe him. She wanted to drown in the warmth of his words, to let them wash away her doubts. But deep down, a voice whispered that something was wrong, terribly wrong. The other side, Eva's betrayal. Unbeknownst to Kat, Tomas had spoken those same words to another woman just hours before. Eva, with her porcelain skin and cascade of raven hair, had stood in her hotel room doorway, her heart racing as Tomas leaned in close. Their lips had met in a fleeting, forbidden kiss, a moment that had ignited a fire in Eva's chest. "You're the woman for me," he had whispered, his breath warm against her ear. And Eva, caught in the spell of his charm, had believed him. Eva was no stranger to heartbreak. She had come to Eldergrove seeking solace after a string of failed relationships, hoping the town's quiet charm would mend her fractured spirit. Instead, she found herself entangled with Tomas, a man who seemed to understand her in ways no one else had. He listened to her stories, laughed at her jokes, and made her feel seen. But his attention came with a price she was only beginning to understand. Tomas had spent the evening with Eva, spinning tales of Kat's jealousy and insecurity. "She's obsessed with you," he had told her, his voice dripping with feigned concern. "She's using me to get to you, to prove she's better. But you and I, Eva, we're different. We're real." His words had been a poison, seeping into Eva's mind and twisting her perception of Kat, her old friend turned rival. By the time their conversation turned to passion, Eva was too far gone to question his motives. They had come dangerously close to crossing a line, their hands roaming, their breaths mingling, until a sudden noise from the hallway had broken the spell. The web of lies. Tomas's true colors. Tomas was a master of deception, a puppeteer pulling the strings of both women's hearts. To Kat, he was the devoted lover, misunderstood and unfairly accused. To Eva, he was the confidant, the one who saw her worth when Kat supposedly sought to tear her down. But in truth, Tomas cared for neither. His motives were far darker, rooted in a desire for control and chaos. He thrived on the tension he created, the way he could pit Kat and Eva against each other while keeping them both tethered to him. It was a game he had played before, in other towns, with other women, and he had yet to lose. The roots of his plan stretched back months, to the moment he first met Kat at a local festival. She had been vibrant, her laughter infectious, and Tomas had seen an opportunity. Kat was strong-willed but vulnerable, her heart open despite her guarded nature. When Eva arrived in Eldergrove, the dynamic shifted, and Tomas saw a chance to elevate his game. Eva's arrival was a spark, and he was the flame, ready to set their world ablaze. He had orchestrated every moment, the flirtations with Kat, the whispered confessions to Eva, the subtle provocations designed to stoke their rivalry. He told Kat that Eva was jealous, manipulative, a threat to their budding romance. He told Eva that Kat was spiteful, using him to hurt her. And all the while, he reveled in their pain, their confusion, their desperate need for his approval. But cracks were beginning to form in his carefully constructed facade. Kat's confrontation in the guesthouse had been unexpected, her questions too pointed, her emotions too raw. Eva, too, was growing restless, her trust in Tomas wavering as she began to notice inconsistencies in his stories. The unraveling, a moment of truth. As the days passed, the tension in Eldergrove grew palpable. Kat and Eva, once friends, now moved through the town like strangers, their interactions strained and guarded. Kat couldn't shake the image of Tomas in Eva's room, the way his hand had lingered on her arm. Eva, meanwhile, wrestled with guilt and suspicion, replaying Tomas's words in her mind. Had he been honest with her, or was she just another pawn in his game? One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the town was bathed in twilight, Kat found herself at the edge of the Eldergrove estate, where the ancient gates loomed like silent sentinels. She had come here to think, to escape the suffocating weight of her doubts. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Eva appeared from the shadows, her expression a mix of defiance and vulnerability. "Cat," Eva said, her voice trembling. "We need to talk." Cat stiffened, her instincts screaming to walk away. But something in Eva's eyes, a flicker of pain, of understanding, made her stay. "What do you want, Eva?" she asked, her tone guarded. Eva took a deep breath, her hands twisting nervously. "It's about Tomas. I think we've both been played." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Kat's heart pounded, a mix of anger and dread coursing through her. "What are you talking about?" she demanded, though a part of her already knew. Eva recounted everything: Tomas's late-night visit, his kiss, his promises, his lies about Kat. As she spoke, Kat's world tilted, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place with sickening clarity. Tomas had told her the same things, spun the same lies, played the same game. The realization was a knife to the heart, but it also ignited a spark of resolve. "We can't let him get away with this," Kat said, her voice low and fierce. "He's been playing us both, Eva. We need to confront him, together." Eva nodded, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "I'm in. Let's end this." The final act, a reckoning, the confrontation, came the next evening, in the guesthouse's dimly lit parlor. Tomas sat at the center of the room, his posture relaxed, his smile as charming as ever. But Kat and Eva stood united, their faces set with determination. The air crackled with anticipation, the weight of their shared betrayal fueling their resolve. "Tomas," Kat began, her voice steady despite the storm raging within her. "We know everything. The lies, the games, the way you've been manipulating us. It's over." Tomas's smile didn't waver, but his eyes darkened, a predator cornered but not yet defeated. "Ladies, I don't know what you're talking about," he said, his voice smooth as ever. "You're letting your imaginations run wild." "Don't," Eva cut in, her voice sharp. "You told me Kat was jealous, that she was using you to hurt me. And you told her I was the one trying to make her jealous. You kissed us both, promised us both the same lies. We're done being your pawns." For the first time, Tomas's facade cracked. His jaw tightened, and a flicker of panic crossed his face. But he quickly recovered, leaning back in his chair with a forced laugh. "You're both so dramatic. Can't you see? You're tearing each other apart over nothing." "No," Kat said, stepping forward. "You're the one tearing us apart. But not anymore. We see you, Tomas. We see who you really are." The room fell silent, the weight of their words settling like dust. Tomas's eyes darted between them, searching for a way out, a crack in their united front. But Kat and Eva stood firm, their bond forged anew in the fire of their shared betrayal. The gates of Eldergrove, once a symbol of mystery and allure, now stood as a testament to their strength, their refusal to be broken. The aftermath. A new beginning. In the days that followed, Tomas left Eldergrove, his charm no longer enough to shield him from the consequences of his actions. Kat and Eva, though scarred, began to rebuild their friendship, their trust in each other slowly mending. The town, with its quiet beauty and hidden secrets, became a place of healing, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, truth could prevail. But the story of Tomas, Kat, and Eva lingered in Eldergrove, a cautionary tale whispered in the ghosthouses and taverns. Beyond the gates, where shadows danced and hearts were tested, two women had faced a deceiver and emerged stronger. And though the wounds of betrayal would take time to heal, Kat and Eva knew one thing for certain: they would never again fall prey to a man like Tomas. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to CBS Beyond the Gates spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.